Twilight City sprawled beneath a bruised sky, a place where crumbling ancient ruins clawed at neon-lit rooftops and shadows stretched long fingers between the cracks of flickering holograms. The city's heartbeat throbbed with danger. It was here that Leo found his home. He wasn't born in this city, not in this life anyway. No, he had come from somewhere else, brought here by circumstance and a desperate need for survival. These winding alleys were his hunting ground. His lithe frame flowed through the tight spaces with an almost liquid grace. His muzzle, dusted with soft orange fur, was set in a grimace, his golden eyes flashing with fair light. And those who knew him feared the glint, for it meant he was ready to unleash the storm that brewed within. His ears, small and pointed like those of a cat, twitched, catching the slightest whisper of sound. A rustle, a cough, even the soft thud of footsteps echoed in the vast emptiness that was his heart. Those cat-like ears were all that remained of his past life, a past he desperately tried to forget. They were a constant, a painful reminder of the one thing he had lost and couldn't get back. Tonight, the hunt was on. His paws padded silently on the whetstone, his keen eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of trouble. When he moved, it was with the deadly grace of a predator. Years of living on the edge had honed him into a weapon, sharp and unforgiving. If anyone crossed him, they would face the full force of his wrath. And there were many who had learned that lesson the hard way. As he rounded a corner, his senses went on high alert. Something was here, watching him. The alley opened up into a small courtyard, and there she was, bathed in the ethereal glow of the moon. Her fur, light gray and soft as ash, framed a face of delicate beauty. Her eyes, large and luminous, shone with a gentle violet light that seemed to pierce the darkness around her. Above her, a hood concealed the rest of her features, shrouding her in mystery. But what truly commanded attention was the crystal clutched in her hand. It pulsed with a soft, steady light, casting dancing shadows on the weathered stones around her. This was no ordinary crystal. Its power resonated with an ancient magic, drawing both wonder and fear from those who beheld it. It was known as the Heartstone, an artifact of immense power capable of shifting the very fate of kingdoms. Luna held the stone aloft, its light illuminating the determined set of her jaw and the defiant gleam in her violet eyes. Her lithe form tensed, ready to spring into action, her gaze unwavering. For a moment, time seemed to stand still, the only sound the distant hum of the city. Then the silence was shattered. A guttural roar echoed through the narrow confines of the alleyway, sending shivers down Leo's spine. Emerging from the shadows, a hulking beast lunged forward, its cybernetic enhancements glinting menacingly in the dim light. Its eyes, devoid of any warmth, burned with a cold, calculating fury. Accompanying the beast were two figures cloaked in darkness, their features obscured, their presence radiating menace. These were the Shadow Mercenaries, silent and deadly, their loyalty bought and paid for by the highest bidder. For a moment, Luna stood frozen, caught in the harsh glare of the creature's baleful gaze. Then, with a swift, graceful movement, she vanished. The courtyard was empty, the Heartstone nowhere to be seen. The beast snarled, frustration and anger contorting its features. It paced restlessly, its metallic limbs clanking ominously. The mercenaries exchanged uneasy glances, their silence heavy with unspoken tension. They had been hired by the ruthless warlord Marcus Corvus to retrieve the Heartstone at any cost. But so far, their efforts had been fruitless. Corvus, a name whispered in fear and loathing, had built his empire on the backs of countless broken dreams. His iron fist ruled over the city with an unrelenting tyranny, crushing any semblance of hope beneath his heel. The beast let out a frustrated roar, its voice echoing the turmoil in the mercenaries' hearts. They had to find the girl. Not only did Corvus demand the Heartstone, he also wanted the girl with it. There was something special about her, something that made her more valuable than the sum of her parts. Leo emerged from the shadows, his golden eyes gleaming with an inner fire. He had watched Luna disappear, and now he was determined to find her, to protect her. In the depths of his amber gaze lay a universe of emotions, a reflection of the turbulent journey that had shaped him into the man he was tonight. His every sense was on high alert, listening, watching, waiting for the next move. With a low growl under his breath, Leo melted back into the darkness, his life form weaving through the shadows like a phantom. His determination hardened into a steely resolve. He would find Luna. He had to. The thought of her in danger fueled his every step, urging him forward with relentless purpose. The path led them across the rooftops, a labyrinth of shadows and moonlight. Each leap was a testament to his agility, each stride a display of raw power. The city lights blurred beneath them, a twinkling tapestry of neon and glass. But Leo's focus was unwavering. He had to get to Luna before the shadow beast did. And then he saw her perched on the edge of a building, the heartstone pulsing softly in her hand. Her back was against the rough stone, her shoulders slumped, her head bowed. But even in defeat, her spirit shone through, refusing to be broken. Her violet eyes, now filled with sadness, glistened like fallen stars in the velvet sky. But her defeat was only feigned. For when the beast loomed over her, its cruel laughter echoing through the night, she vanished, leaving behind nothing but a faint whisper of lavender and the lingering echo of her courage. "Run," she said, her voice barely audible above the wind. "Run and don't look back." Her words were a lifeline thrown into the darkness, a beacon guiding Leo through the maze of rooftops. He didn't question her. He didn't need to. Trust was a currency they had earned with their lives, and he knew she wouldn't steer him wrong. He fled, his muscles burning, his lungs aching, but he didn't dare slow down. Behind him, the sounds of the pursuit grew louder, more desperate. The beast was closing in, driven by the promise of Corvus's reward and the thrill of the chase. Suddenly, Luna reappeared, blocking his path. Her eyes, now blazing with determination, were fixed on his. With a finality that left no room for argument, she pressed the heartstone into his hands. "Take it," she said, her voice echoing with power. "You must deliver it to the council." Before Leo could respond, she vanished again, leaving him alone on the rooftop with the pounding of his heart as the only company. He didn't hesitate. He had a mission now, one that transcended his own survival. He tucked the heartstone into his belt, its reassuring weight a constant reminder of the responsibility he now carried. With renewed purpose, he turned and fled. The chase was on once more, but this time it was different. Leo was running not just for himself, but for the hope of an entire city. Through the twisting, turning alleys, over the rickety wooden bridges, he ran, his paws pounding a tattoo on the stone streets. Finally, they burst out of the city limits, the sprawling metropolis giving way to the sprawling wilderness beyond. Leo didn't stop. He couldn't. Not until he reached the hidden sanctuary of the Moonstone Council, an ancient order sworn to protect the balance of the world. With the Heartstone safely secured, Leo finally allowed himself a moment of respite. The danger wasn't over, not by a long shot. But for now, he was safe. As the first rays of dawn touched the horizon, painting the sky in hues of rose and gold, Leo stood before the council, the Heartstone pulsing softly in his hand. Around him, the elder members of the council, their faces lined with wisdom and their eyes filled with ancient knowledge, regarded him with solemn gazes. He recounted his tale, the relentless pursuit by Corvus's forces, the near capture, and Luna's desperate gamble. As he spoke, the councilors exchanged grave looks, their expressions a mixture of admiration for Luna's bravery and concern for the perilous journey ahead. The Heartstone, they knew, held immense power, power that could tip the scales of the coming war. But wielding that power came at a price. It demanded a sacrifice, a bond that ran deeper than blood or loyalty. In the end, it was decided that Luna and Leo, the two young warriors who had borne witness to the depths of darkness and the heights of courage, would become the champions of the Heartstone. Their bond, forged in the fires of adversity, was deemed strong enough to withstand the challenges that lay ahead. And as the sun climbed higher in the sky, bathing the world in its warm embrace, Luna and Leo stood hand in hand before the council, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. Their love, born in the shadows, was now their greatest strength. They were bound not just by duty or honor, but by a love that defied the darkness and embraced the light.